Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Stakeholders concerned about crime and lack of economic opportunities in Westmoreland. Opposition urges government attention following major jailbreak in Haiti. And later in sports, double-header set for Stadium East in Rare Navy Jamaica Premier League. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters and here are the details. A lack of economic activity is being blamed for the increase in violence in the parish of Westmoreland. It's why stakeholders in the Western Parish are imploring the government and private sector to look to the parish as a means of boosting their footprint, which will in turn boost the economic prospects of a parish. Kirk Wright has that story.
Crime and violence continue to grip the parish of Westmoreland, leaving residents and the business community in fear. In recent months, there have been sporadic outbreaks of violence in the Western Parish. On the weekend, 4 people were shot, 2 fatally, including a 16-year-old girl. Late last month, 7 people were shot, 3 fatally. It's something that Custos of Westmoreland, Reverend Hartley Perring, says he has been taking note of. He has also expressed disappointment that violence has again erupted in the parish. But what is the driving force behind the increase in violence in the parish?
The demise of the sugar industry in the parish of Westmoreland. The sugar industry brought in millions of dollars on a fortnightly basis, and that came to an end. And we have not yet been able as a parish to find something else to replace that vacuum that has been created with the absence of the sugar industry. And so young people, many of whom are without jobs, without income, and their families similarly, we are at a hard place until and unless we can find something to gainfully occupy our young people. We will have the problem for a long time.
President of the Westmoreland Chapter of Commerce, Moses Chibar, says a great opportunity lies in the agriculture sector for gainful employment. He pointed to the bamboo sector as one such area. In May 2021, then Minister with responsibility for industry, investment and commerce, Audley Shaw, noted that it had engaged with an investor to establish a bamboo pulp and paper mill in Westmoreland, valued at approximately $296 million. He said the bamboo pulp and paper mill would be situated in Froome and will add 500 direct jobs and 5,000 jobs indirectly.
My understanding is that the project is very near to a starting date now. But as it relates to other types of agricultural crops, it is my opinion and of the business community that the way we mostly farm now, we're still engaging in the old methodology of farming where it's too manual, and where I would love to see us go as a parish with tourism booming so well. We have to look now at agriculture in a more commercial scale.
Both men were speaking on the morning agenda on Power 106 on Monday. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
The opposition is this afternoon warning the government, especially the National Security Ministry, to pay keen attention to the recent jailbreak in Haiti. According to reports, some 4,000 prisoners have escaped. Kelisha Williams reports.
The recent migration of Haitians has seen about 3 boatloads of them ending up on Jamaican shores between late last year and this year. Concern is now being raised about the implication for Jamaica's security amid a worsened crime situation in neighboring Haiti. It follows reports that armed gangs stormed the main prison in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, releasing thousands of inmates. Opposition spokesman on national security in Jamaica, Senator Peter Bunting, says particular attention must be paid to this development. He says there has been an active relationship between criminal gangs in Haiti and Jamaica, with a well-established trafficking route between the two countries.
As the security situation in Haiti deteriorates, it must be of great concern to Jamaicans that vector for guns, drugs, human trafficking, etc., will become more active as the Haitian state becomes less capable. I'm only hopeful that some of the initiatives to bring order in Haiti can be executed quickly, and Jamaica, I understand, has made a substantial contribution, although we are yet to hear the full details from the government.
He's therefore suggesting that greater investment be made in onshore intelligence to assist the police in intercepting persons who seek to enter the country illegally.
Ideally, you'd want to have a Coast Guard that was capable of closing our borders effectively. But in reality, I think what we need to do is invest more in terms of onshore intelligence resources, confidential informants, etc., so that we don't have to worry about intercepting boats in the 100,000 square mile EEZ, but instead we get intelligence on their routes and their planned landings, and that's where we can more effectively intercept them.
Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
Time is running out for companies to get regulated under the new data protection law. Now, one attorney is warning companies of the consequences if they fail to do so. Carrie Simpson has the details.
The grace period for the new Data Protection Act, which was implemented on December 1 last year, is set to end May 1. Companies not in compliance could face hefty fines.
If you're not in compliance with the legislation, you face the risk of a 4%, and I want you to listen clearly, 4% of your worldwide gross annual revenue.
Attorney at law Jazeel Martin explained that while the act is applicable to all businesses in Jamaica, the act specifically applies to data controllers.
If you collect personal identifiable information of individuals in your business, you are a data controller. If you process that information as part of your business, or you receive information from other data controllers, so your corporate clients or customers requesting you process information on their behalf, then you now become a data processor. And so you'll find that most companies within the global services industry here in Jamaica play a dual role of data controller and data processor. And the act specifically applies to data controllers.
He also warns against over-collecting information as it can be a breach of the legislation. In the meantime, Mr. Martin is encouraging companies to get legal advice to ensure their data policies comply with the standard that is set out in the Jamaican legislation.
And I know some of your companies are a part of global organization groups, and what may apply in another jurisdiction may not apply here in Jamaica. There may be overlaps, so you need someone from a local perspective to ensure that you are in compliance with Jamaican law.
Data protection has been at the forefront of persons' minds following recent debate about scamming as well as reports of fraudulent activities at financial institutions. Carrie Simpson, TVJ News.
Thanks, Carrie, and it's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Head of Pathology in the Southeast Regional Health Authority, Dr. Colette Hall, says the Mandeville Regional Hospital can now process more samples since the team has gotten a physical space at the facility. Dr. Hall reached out to TVJ News months ago about the challenges her team faces in clearing backlogs as it was grappling with limited resources. But she says the situation has now changed.
We are I no longer have to travel back and forth. We have the space to accommodate additional staff, including an additional pathologist, Dr. Ricardo White. And we are able to process more samples.
Dr. Hall says there are areas which can be improved, but it is work in progress.
We still have a few additional equipment to install and procure, but we essentially expanded the lab on a phased basis, both in terms of additional staff and equipment. We do not offer public cytology services now, but because we don't have a cytotechnologist or technical assistant, cytology technical assistant, but we plan to address that in this upcoming financial year so that we're able to process cervical cytology or pap smears, right, and in addition to other cytology samples.
Residents who use the Duane Park in St. Andrew are disgruntled this afternoon over the poor state of the recreational ground. Since the park was completed last year by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, it has not been officially opened for use. Residents have been complaining about the area needing to be debushed, as well as improper disposal of garbage. They say the area is not sanitary and poses a health risk for children and the elderly in the area.
Nobody have access to it, and it seems like it's not completed and vandalism is out to take place. There is a little park there, the inside park where the children are supposed to be at. There's nothing really happening there. It is just what it is. It needs to be better for the children to come out here on a Sunday and a public holiday and have access to their park, because we don't have a park present for ourselves.
The people do not throw the things in the bin. They throw it on the ground. And that's not
right. What's the condition you're seeing it is in now? Tell me what you have observed for yourself.
Very bad. Very bad. Downgrading. Very bad.
They are calling on the authorities to intervene before the situation gets worse.
The condition of the park is not like it is. Yes, them clean it every now and again. Like I say, take for instance Christmas can't clean, take for instance Easter can't clean. But I think the main problem is because the liquor shop them is not the liquor shops them are not completed. If these shops were completed, more likely the park would have been a better condition in terms of because they are there already. Right? Then once it's there, I don't think the park would have stayed like this.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says there needs to be greater accountability in the affairs of municipal corporations. His comments come after the Auditor General reported that municipal corporations could not account for billions of dollars in expenditure. The Prime Minister says municipal corporations are entities that are also subject to regulations and procedures.
Some persons have sought to roll this up into some form of local government reform, which suggests that local government has a special form of reform. The truth is that local government is an administrative arm of government like any other administrative arm of government. They fall under the PBMA and the other regulations of government, and greater attention and enforcement is needed to ensure accountability in this regard.
And it's now time for the Business Minute. The Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ, plans to invest over 40 billion Jamaican dollars in 2024-25. The government body, which provides financing to businesses through approved financial institutions, says it also expects to disburse $9.2 billion in loans for the fiscal year, which begins April. In the latest public body's estimates, the DBJ says it plans to execute the privatization of a number of government entities, including Braco Village Resorts, Jamaica Mortgage Bank, Montpelier Agricultural Lands. The DBJ also has plans to work on public-private partnerships involving projects with the National Solid Waste Management Authority and the Sawberry Wastewater Treatment Plant. Further afield, General Motors is recalling nearly 820,000 pickup trucks because of a potential safety concern with the vehicle's tailgates. GM says the issue surrounds the electronic latch mechanism used to open the gate of some Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra truck beds. The automaker says if water gets into the tailgate, the mechanism used to keep it closed might short circuit. The pickup trucks involved include the 2020 to 2024 model years. And that's it for the Business Minute. Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, Haiti's government has declared a state of emergency after armed gangs stormed a major Port-au-Prince prison. At least 12 people were killed and about 3,700 inmates escaped in the jailbreak. Gang leaders say they want to force the resignation of Prime Minister Ariel Henry, who had traveled abroad. The groups aiming to oust him control around 80% of Port-au-Prince. Violent gang wars have killed thousands in the country since 2020. On the international scene, The U.S. Supreme Court unanimously ruled that former President Donald Trump should appear on Colorado's Republican presidential primary ballot. And a majority of justices also found the ruling applies to any federal candidate, meaning Mr. Trump cannot be left off ballots in other states with similar lawsuits. The decision came after months of debate over whether Mr. Trump violated the insurrectionist clause in the Constitution's 14th Amendment. And the alleged gang rape of a tourist with Brazilian-Spanish dual nationality in the eastern Indian state of Jharkhand has caused outrage. The 28-year-old woman and her husband were on a tour when the alleged attack took place. Police say they have arrested 4 men and are searching for 3 more. The identities of the men who are also accused of beating the woman's partner have not been disclosed. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Ann Simpson.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, Jordan Fort will have your midday sports report.